This is the last section of the Ninalika Sock Knit Along. So by now you should have cast on your Judy's Magic cast on, you should have created your toes, the first part of the colour work, built the foot, created the mini gusset increase, the shadow wrap heel and the mini gusset decrease, and then worked your leg right up until today you're doing the leg and the colour work, or I should say this week, and then the cuff and the Jeny's surprise stretchy bind off, and it really is a very stretchy bind off. So I'm currently working on the colour work of my second sock, and when I have completed the colour work, I won't show you because obviously it's a paid pattern and a chart, and if you've completed the colour work here, then you'll definitely be able to complete the colour work on the leg. So I'll come back when I'm about to cast off the cuff and I'll show you Jeny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. So I've just started the Jeny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, so you can see there it really is very stretchy. And the easiest way that I remember how to do the yarn is I know that for a purl stitch I want my working yarn to be in the front, and for a knit stitch I want my working yarn to be at the back, and so I just remember by where my yarn is. So for the next stitch it's a purl stitch, so I know that I need to go around the needle so that my working yarn is in the front, and then I work that purl stitch. I'm just going to put the yarn back out of the way, and then I'm just going to move over that yarn over and the stitch that was on the needle over that purled stitch. So I've got one stitch on my needle, on my right hand needle. My next stitch is a purl, so I know that I need to have my yarn over going so that my working yarn is ready to purl. And so I purl that one, and then I'm going to put that yarn over that purled stitch and that remainder stitch that was on the needle over the purl stitch. And now I'm back onto a knit stitch, and I know that my knit stitch needs to have the working yarn at the back, so I'm going to go over the needle so that yarn is at the back, and then work that knit stitch, and then yarn over that knit stitch, and also the remainder stitch that was on the needle, and you just carry on like that all the way around the top of the sock until you get to the very last stitch, and then you cut the yarn and then feed it through, and that's the Jeny's bind off. So I'm going to get on and do that now. Okay, so these are my last two stitches for Jeny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, and then my two purls. So just pull those two over that purl stitch, oops, and then do it again. So 1, 2, and then I'm just going to pull my yarn up and then pull that through and tie it off. Okay, and then I just need to sew in my ends, but I now have, I tuck that in. There we go. So I now have my two, let me zoom out. So there's 1 and 2. My two Ninalika socks with the Judy's Magic cast on, the toe, the colour work. I worked the length of the foot I needed. I did the mini gusset increase, the shadow wrap heels, the mini gusset decrease. I then worked the legs to the length I wanted it to be, and then I worked the cuff and then did the Jeny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. So I hope you've enjoyed the knit along like I have I've got 2 fabulous socks, or a pair of fabulous socks, and I look forward to seeing all of your socks on BumpyCrafters Facebook page. Take care, everybody.